today. I'm gonna look through some clips, throw some stuff together, and see what you guys think. And I will see you shortly. Bye bye. Looking good, feeling good.
Yep. Come in. Okay. Coming. Bye.
Woo! It is crazy cold. And not only that, it's a mofo and blizzard out here. Check this out. Woo! Oh, I see her. Woo! Almost busted. Almost busted my ass, guys. And I'm running through the snow. My feet are gonna be sopping wet. Woo! Where'd I get in it?
Press it. I just couldn't see because all the snow.
Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for coming back to Regular Rob TV. I'm Rob. So the video today, I've not been looking forward to doing for a few different reasons. It's kind of hard to do. It's hard to talk about without getting upset. And you'll see why. I mean, most people can relate. Let's just get into it. Okay, so I have a pet dachshund. I've had him for about close to 3-4 years. He's kind of a little guy, but he's a full-blooded dachshund. Hands down, the best dog that I have ever had. I've had another dachshund. He unfortunately got hit by a car a few years ago. I didn't have him near as long. I mean, it still sucked. It was still really sad. I was still, majorly bummed out about it. But it wasn't as heartbreaking because, like I said, I mean, it was at the time, but it wasn't. It wasn't like this. And I've had pictures of him on some of the montages I did for the original channel, Mr. Conaway one. So if you want to see an older picture of him, you can look at those videos. So anyway, yes, it's Jack, my dachshund. So I believe it was 2-3 days ago, I had noticed that he was real sensitive, like under his front legs, because I would always pick him up under his chest, like right around here, when I would pick him up. And, I know to be careful around with dachshunds. When you pick them up, you kind of have to watch them, and you just kind of have to watch for them in general, because their elongated backs are really sensitive. They're really prone to, like, back problems, broken backs, slip discs, and we've always been really careful with him. I have 3 younger kids, and they all are pretty good with him. They're pretty good with him. He's always been a little wary of the younger ones, the younger two, especially my youngest right now, Bodie. He's really wary of him because kids. Just some dogs are wary around little kids. But at the same time, none of my kids they know better than to roughhouse with him. I kind of just had that in the back of my head, didn't know why. I kind of thought he's been running around He's an inside dog, but he runs around with the neighborhood dogs outside when he goes out to potty sometimes. So I thought, well, maybe he's roughhoused and got bruised, or played a little bit too rough or something. Didn't think anything about it really. I think it was the very next day. I think we had a couple places to go. He had been out, in and out a couple times. Didn't notice he was getting around really good. Didn't notice anything drastically different. Long story short, we get home from doing something that day, and I let him in the house. I think a few hours later. It's after dark, and usually he meets us at the door, or I can hear him barking when we're trying to unlock the door to get in. I go over to him, start saying his name, and he proceeds to pull himself out of his, like, very slowly, carefully, he pulls himself with his front paws out of his bed. Now I'm still about halfway across the living room. Our living room is kind of a long rectangular shape, but anyways, I'm like about halfway from him or whatever. And I'm just standing there in, like, shocked, because here's my dog that is fully capable and fully mobile of 2 hours ago, and give or take, and now I'm literally watching him pulling himself, his whole weight, his whole body, with his front paws, just to come over to me. He's not whining, he's not acting like he's in pain, and I think that until I feel him, and he's shaking all over, and the vet later on had told us that was definitely from pain. So we're baffled. I look at my mom and dad. We're all three of us. It was just the three of us. We're all baffled. Like, what in the hell has happened to Jack? Excuse me. Pardon me. It's insane, right? So, and still at this point, I wasn't thinking that it was going to be anything like really, really bad. I didn't have a bad feeling about it or anything. The next day rolls around, and we take him to one of our local vets, just a few miles down the road, right? And I go back with him, and next day, same thing, no change. He can't support his back half of his body, hold himself up. There's no wiggle in his tail, no movement in, his tail or his two back legs. So we load up in the car and take him to the vet, and I go back with him when we get there, and she gets out the forceps, I think they're called. They're like the little surgical steel forceps things. Like, kind of like clamps where you can lock them into place. So anyway, she starts taking them. They're like little pliers, whatever. So she starts taking them. I'm kind of holding them still. She's behind him, back by his back parts, and she's taking these instruments, and I notice she's pinching, like, his toes, his tendons, his sensitive spots on his legs, and she works on his tail and his where it connects to his spine and stuff like that, and then his other extremities, and then closer to the body too. And she's just pinching them, and I was like, that's not good, is it? She's, no, that's not good. That's not good at all. I don't know. And she said, because he should be biting me right now. I didn't realize how hard she was pinching him, but I guess she was pinching him pretty hard. And I don't think he maybe even looked back at her. Maybe once, just to see what she was doing. I was like, well, did he get hit by a car? Because that's my first thought. Maybe he got, like, I didn't see any injuries outward, but maybe he got clipped by a tire or something. That's happened to animals we've had before, where there's no visual sign of injury except for the impairment of the legs, or whatever they got hit. And she said it's just hard to tell. It's basically impossible for them to tell. He could have slipped a disc. It had been snowing. She said it could have been something as simple as him stepping in a hole the wrong way. We may have never known it. I mean, probably will never know what it was. It's you know, affected him like that. So, this is Mr. Conaway. You can do, here's what we can do. We can push an IV of steroids into him while he's here, and then we can send him home with whatever antibiotics and steroid pills to continue. I said, okay, well, we can do that. We can do that. She said, that's the first route that people usually try when something like this happens. I said, if that doesn't work, there are like laser treatments that they can do. You have to do 6 of them at 45, 50 a pop, and then there's something else that you have to do with that. But anyways, the vet pretty much told me, that can get into like the tens of thousands of dollars, like really, really easy, which is generally not an option for people, for the average person. And he is like another part of the family. He fits in really good. He's a good dog. I really think that he thinks he's my son because I have raised him since he was little. And like I said before, he's hands down the best little dog I've ever had. He's so, when you don't feel good, he's there at your side or on your lap or, whatever. And you can just feel the empathy and sympathy, And I know it's weird to say about an animal, but it's true. And if you've ever, for anybody that's ever had a dog or a cat or a hamster, whatever. I mean, for anybody who's ever had an animal companion that they were super close to, you understand what I mean, what I'm talking about. With anything, the love that you're giving to this pet, this animal, this companion, doesn't come without a price, because animals have even more finite lives than we do. I've been really depressed about this, I mean, because he was such an active dog. Running, jumping, playing outside. Like, he was an inside dog, but he played outside all the time. Was really good about coming out, housebroken. So now we have to make all these adjustments. And I'm just praying. that he, that the medicine that they sent us home with, the antibiotics and the steroids, and then we're heating pad and the hot and cold reversal. I'm hoping that does the trick. I'm hoping that we start seeing improvement. I'm supposed to keep an eye on him. I'm realistic. I know it's going to take time to heal from something like that, especially, if he did slip a disc or he got hit by a car or if his back's broken. We're lucky that, because there's so much pressure on that lower spine. It's just lucky that he's not just in like excruciating pain right now, or else I'm sure they probably would have had to put him down. So at least there's something that we can work with. Things may go from bad to worse. I don't know that yet, but just be positive. Just trying to be positive. Send positive vibes. Send all the positive vibes you got my way. Anything you got, we'll take it. So stay positive. Keep working with Jack, and yeah, I guess that's it. See you later.
I think we're gonna get some.
You confident?
I'm confident.
Lift up on the tail. There you go.
It's gonna be right in my face.
And just take it. There you go.
Oh wow, look at that.
It's like turning on a faucet of black gold.
They just come right out when she's ready, huh? Pretty cool.
This female can produce up to 500,000 eggs.
Okay, I got it.
We've got to keep up.
Oh, there's another one between my legs.
That's what she said.
Look at that.
Now it's time for the most important step.
They're very fragile.
Take 1 bowl of eggs, add a few drops of paddlefish sperm,
Go ahead and squirt it in there.
then feather stir to avoid breakage.
What it looks like and what it feels like is making blueberry muffins.
Ew.
I'm serious. I made blueberry muffins last week and they look just like this.
Ew.
What's impossible in the Lake of the Ozarks
Dude, thanks for ruining blueberry muffins for
takes
me.
20 minutes in a plastic bowl.
These eggs, in about a week's time, they'll hatch into baby fish. And then in about 6 months' time, they'll be fingerling about a foot long. And that's when they go back into the reservoirs and rivers.